would you ever want to get into a real seat and actually race?
Yeah. I also Formula E, 100%, like 100%. Like I want to get into Formula 1. That's still my dream, innit?
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Track Limits podcast presented by Formula Addict. I'm here with my co-host Henny. We are in London interviewing an incredible guest, a person who's been a long time aficionado at F1 Esports, a person that's also a content creator. You might see them on YouTube and Twitter, and a person who has a lot of drama around him right now because we don't really know where he's going to go. But by the time this recording comes out, you'll probably know where he ended up. Marcel Kiefer.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course.
Honestly, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad that we could work it out. Yeah. What you guys didn't know, behind the scenes, we were actually trying to set it up already earlier this year, but we couldn't make it work. And now the universe wanted us to meet and do this in person, so it worked out. So,
and I appreciate you, constantly following up. And even on my end, the reason I think we're so excited to have you is because you haven't really done too many in-person podcasts. And you mentioned this is your first.
Yeah, first time ever. So we're
breaking it.
Yeah, we're breaking you in. Literally, we're breaking you in.
So chill.
Yeah, honestly. Let's do it.
So we break our podcast up into 3 parts. Q1, all related to racing. Q2, kind of more diving into you as a professional. And then finally, the rapid fire round. And Henny and I are just going to pepper you with questions.
It's our favorite.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Is that
easy.
good?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Easy?
I'm ready.
It's like I already got pole on lock. This is easy.
So first question, tell us a bit, in 30 seconds, tell us a bit about what you're really proud of. What are some of the core accomplishments you're proud of in your career and kind of those milestones that you look back to?
I mean, honestly, biggest milestone probably winning the championship in 2020 with Red Bull and Freddie. Tino as well, of course, important part of the team. So that has been amazing. But I think getting going was the initial challenge because I was nobody and I had no experience and I worked myself up there with just grinding and grinding. I remember the days when F1 Esports launched, and it's maybe something that people think is disgusting, but there were days where I didn't shower just because I felt like showering is not as important as getting like laps in, because I had 4 weeks to get used to steering wheel and pedals, and because I never had that before. And just priority was making it, because that's my only shot at getting involved in Formula 1 and maybe becoming a driver in the future. So
And then what does the day-to-day life for you look like? Because I know when I go to your Instagram, it's cool because you're one of those drivers that doesn't just spend like 20 hours in the simulator. Like you actively also work out, you post your workouts. You're like, trying to be healthy both like on track and even off track. So tell us a bit about the day-to-day right now during the off season.
So day-to-day, I'm really lazy. I'm not doing anything. and it's
all, take it all back.
And it's all talent, so I don't work hard. No, just kidding.
Okay.
So pretty much, I don't have a strict schedule, but I'm trying to work out at least 1 hour a day, go for a run, maybe like a 10K run, focusing on cardio because I'm quite a buff guy. I don't want to...
Are you good?
No. But so I'm trying to lose muscle because I'm a bit too big for racing cars. And also on the simulator, actually, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if you're on the sim, you can be heavy, you can have muscles. Yeah, you can. But then again, if you're sitting there and you have to wrestle your car around and you're doing these kind of motions, and then you feel your muscles blocking you.
It's
just
restricting.
Like being athletic is way more nice. So if you're a bit more skinny and a bit lighter, just feeling healthy, good. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So I'm trying to look into just maintaining a good overall fitness level. And so basic endurance. Yeah. So if you look at real life racing drivers, they're not massive. Maybe Lewis Hamilton, like he's Czech. But aside from that, like most drivers are fairly skinny or normal looking. If you would see them on the street, you would not think they are an athlete. But when you see them on a treadmill, or if you challenge them for a push-up competition, they're like, I'm going to smoke you. So that's kind of like what I'm basing my day around. And then focusing, of course, on content creation and just expanding, communicating with my fans, my community, and also, of course, working in the background with my new team.
New team. I love it. And you came into esports again, pretty young. Like you've been in F1 Esports now for how long? Like,
think this year should be the 6th year. In 2017 it started. But of course there's been guys, they were not involved in F1 Esports because that's when it launched. But for example, Joni Tormela, who's been also teammates with me, he was at the time when F1 Esports happened, he was already sim racing for 9 years.
Whoa.
So some of them, like also Freddy, I think he started when he was like 13, and I started when I was 17 turning 18, so I was one of the older dogs in the game. And even now I think I'm the second or third oldest driver on the esports group, because there's so many new talents coming in, but of course they have no chance.
You're gonna get dusted. But was it hard early on though, finding a team? Was that a challenge to get into esports, even coming from like not that background with sim racing?
I mean, initially, like 2017, it kicked off as a driver competition, so we were all just competing as ourselves, of course representing teams in the game, but just because that's how the game worked. It wasn't like we were assigned to the team, we were just driving, picking a car, and that's it. So kind of more like whatever you received from F1 when they told you you're going to drive for Toro Rosso or Mercedes or McLaren, whatever you got, you just took it. Or if they ask you, what car do you want to drive? You maybe said like, I want to drive this and that car, just because I'm a big fan of them. And then in 2018, they stepped up, and also the real life teams, aside from Ferrari, they are now part of it, but in 2018 we were all like, why is Ferrari not joining? So they joined as well. Then in 2019, but in 2018 it was the first year where we were actually signing to F1 teams, and when they started having their projects, I think back then was Hype Energy, eForce India, that was my first team. And getting to that stage, I mean, the year before I was still in school telling people I'm going to be in F1 as a driver one day, because I knew I wanted to do that. And they were all laughing at me. And a year later, I'm actually signed to an F1 team and going to factories of Formula 1 teams and talking to the real life drivers, the team principals, back to Otmar Safnauer, and I think it was Vijay, which was unbelievable. Everything felt so surreal. But at the same time, once you get there, it's like, business is on. Like you just move on. Like it's becoming normal, as weird as it sounds. And but I guess that's just how you have to deal with it. Because if you're sitting there like starstruck, like a fanboy, you're probably not gonna do well at racing in an F1 car or racing at the highest level.
How was your rookie year though? Was it a shocking moment? Like what was that process like for you?
Like when I actually had the call that I'm gonna drive for an esports team, I was signed to a management, and later on there was kind of a mistake, but at the same time I'm really grateful, even if it's bad experiences. Like for example, I got the opportunity through them to work closer with an F1 team and to sign with them. So as bad as some things were, I wouldn't be here right now if it wouldn't be for the bad moments and the good moments. So I'm still grateful for that. But when they told me I'm gonna be part of Force India, I was actually like jumping around my house. I was like, what on earth is going on? I'm part of a Formula 1 team, calling my mom, I did they sign me? And he was like, no way. It was mental, honestly. And nowadays I'm just like, okay, where's the contract? Getting smart. Hello?
Oh my god.
No, but it was
That's honestly amazing. But now that you're a veteran, take us through your race procedures for a race weekend. What does that process look like for you now?
I mean, it's still fairly similar. I mean, the F1 game, it's pretty simple. There's a few things that you can practice. We already know if we're going to have a short qualifying. Back then, we had just 80-minute qualifying. Nowadays, we're doing the full procedure like in real Formula 1 with Q1, Q2, Q3. So we also practice these sessions because you can just load it up with your teammate and do exactly what's going to happen. Different scenarios, intermediate, wet, dry, shadow, dynamic, whatever it is. Like you can literally practice everything. And then with that, you initially build a base setup. So you're kind of creating a baseline where you're feeling, okay, this is going the right direction. Maybe for Silverstone, a bit lower wings because it's still a high-speed track, but you want the top speed because you're a long-time full throttle. For something like Monaco, which we don't race, but as an example, you go high wings, you have these kind of ideas, and then you just fine-tune. Fine-tune, and you're never happy. That's the most frustrating thing. You're never getting to the point where you're like, this is gonna be the setup and I'm never gonna touch it again. There have been a few times where I knew my setup was amazing and it will be insane and I will be fighting for the win. But the next session when I hit my PB, I'm already changing the off diff or on off, and you're like, I can find more. It's like never stopping process. So I think it's similar to real life racing drivers. You just never find the sweet spot, and you're just like, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. And so it's a continuous grind until you find the perfect setup. And then of course also race runs similar to real F1. Just we have way more time, because once you get the game, you can drive until the race is happening, because that's gonna be where you're gonna be competing in the final stage. So
and this is a hot take, but for people who say sim racing is not real racing, what do you say to those people?
They are correct. I mean, it is not real racing, but that doesn't take away the fact that we are not sitting there on a gamepad or on a mouse and keyboard. We still have the forces from the wheel. We don't have G-forces. We might also not run 120 kg of brake pressure on our brake load, but we still have to move our legs. We still have to tray brake. We still have to master all these techniques. We need to shift. We need to make decisions in the right moment. We need to deal with the pressure. We still represent brands on a high level, where if we say something stupid, we will find out. Like, there's gonna be a call, and you're gonna see, okay, the number of your boss, and you're like,
damn,
I think I know what this is all about. And sometimes you're just paranoid when you hear, okay, can we have a chat? And you're like, oh no, what did I do? What did I do? But then again, you tell them and they're like, no, it's all good. Like nothing happened. And I was like, okay, I was already preparing for getting fired. So
Neat. And then what was it like? I mean, you talked a little bit about Force India. What was it like then transitioning over to Red Bull? Like, was there a culture difference there? Did you feel like you were a totally different driver at Red Bull than Force India? How did that process even work?
I mean, one thing that's very similar, you have a feeling in both teams. I mean, nowadays, I guess, Aston Martin and Red Bull today, it just feels like you're part of something bigger than just you doing well and you wanting to do well. Like, you're definitely part of something like a family. Like, they say Red Bull family, and that's actually a thing. Like, you feel like you're part of a whole universe, not just the racing team, because Red Bull is so big and you get to meet so many amazing people and talents and athletes. It's just amazing. But also on Aston Martin, or back then Force India, because it was such a small team. I was still in the team when it wasn't owned by Lawrence Stroll. So the budget was, it was actually at some stage, was literally in the transitioning phase. And I was like, will I even still get to drive? Because at that time, nobody knew if Force India would survive. But back then, there was not a lot of budget, and they were all working so incredibly hard. And it's incredible to see what these people can do. And there was no budget cap or anything. So they were competing against Mercedes and Ferrari, Red Bull, all of these massive brands who have so much money without a cost cap. And they were so limited in their small factory, which is super outdated, but they're still making it work and producing high level racing cars. And sometimes, I think in 2018, I think they were fighting for, wasn't that the time when Lewis, Ocon, Perez and Vettel, the picture from Spa when they were four wide, that was incredible. And I was so hyped for the Porsche. I was like, let's go. Like, it's crazy. As soon as you're part of a team, no matter if you were a big fan before, as soon as you're there, you feel like this atmosphere. There's no way to not support them and not feel like you're part of this.
Right.
And I think that's probably similar in any kind of team. But it was amazing at Racing Point. It was a great first introduction, because I was also coming from kind of like a poorer background, and then being in a poor F1 team, which is ridiculous, because a poor F1 team is still rich. But relatively speaking, it just felt a bit more like you're fitting into the place.
Right.
I sometimes also felt like going into like the paddock club. I don't know if you've ever been there. But it feels so surreal. Like, all of these rich people. I mean, they're all lovely. Not saying anything against it, but I'm just there like, where's my Happy Meal? And I would like a McFlurry, and they're all like having this fancy sushi, caviar. I'm just like, I can live off with basics. Of course, I'm not just eating junk. I'm looking at a healthy diet, but like I'm still like kind of like basic food, just because I grew up that way.
It's just that's what you know. That's what you like.
But so that was perfect entrance. Force India, I felt amazing there. After 1.5 years, it was more like related to that management side, because they were dealing with and managing also the esports side of Force India. So that's why I didn't feel at home anymore, and I didn't really feel like I fit in I didn't feel like representing something which I can't represent at the time. There was no bad feelings towards the team because I knew they were not part of that. But I knew I had to make the switch because I was really, really unhappy. And I didn't feel like I want to be there anymore. And competing like that I was really thinking happiness is everything. And if you're not happy, you won't do well. Like there is no way around it. Sure, there's some moments where adversity and stuff shows what kind of athlete you are, but at some extent where it's just like literally dragging you down all the time, and you don't feel like there's any kind of rope coming out which will help you out of that hole. You just literally feel like you need to escape. And that's what I felt like in late 2019. And I also scored, fortunately, my first win against Freddie, my teammate, and in the future. So Red Bull, there's potential in that guy, and he's a lot of people still like me in the paddock. Let's just call it paddock as well. In the F1 Esports paddock, I was always a guy that was trying to just be charismatic, be energetic, just having some kind of energy around me where people feel like this guy would would fit in our team and would be a great addition in whatever way. And so I was talking to Red Bull at the time, and they were like, yeah, okay, let's do something. And then early 2020, I think like March, it was officially signed off, and I was joining them. I nearly joined another team. I nearly joined actually McLaren at that time.
Wow. Okay,
But then I saw the reaction from the Red Bull team, the drivers, when they heard, what, you didn't sign Marcel? What are you guys doing? I was like, I want to be part of a family. I want to see that people appreciating me, not just as a driver, but as a person, because that gives you so much more. If they actually want you to do well, if they don't just want the result. I mean, I also want the result. It's like I'm competing to win. But if you feel like, even if there's maybe a bad day, they're still like, this man has got it. Like, we've got his back, and he has ours. It's gonna work out. That's exactly what you need to compete at this like top level, where you feel like, okay, everything is gonna work out, even on a bad day. It's not gonna matter in the
And it seems like you had a good relationship as well with your teammate Freddie at Red Bull, right? I remember there was one race, I don't know the exact one, maybe it was Spa, but like you were actively trying to help him win, so that he would have enough points to win the championship against Jarno, I think. At the time.
I think it was Brazil.
Brazil. But like doing stuff like that, it's super cool to see. And I mean, it's not mandatory that you do that, right? So like, talk to us about Freddie, like what you learned from him, and then even the decision then to leave Red Bull. Where did that kind of come from as well?
I mean, Freddie is a great guy. Most people that don't know him, who might be listening, Freddie was my teammate in Red Bull, and he's an incredible, talented athlete. He finished P2 every year, I think, aside from 2018. And 2017 was also kind of like just 3-race championship. He didn't do well there. But in general, like, he always finished P2, always super close to winning, and one of the most consistent guys on the grid. Insanely talented. And I knew if I beat him in practice and if I'm faster than him, I'm going to be wicked on track. Like, I'm going to literally destroy everyone, because Freddie is so fast. You don't have to worry. If you're faster than Freddie, there's nothing to worry about. It's like, okay, this is the benchmark. I'm going to take him. If I beat him, it's the win. That usually was the case. So, no, it's been great working with him. Also, he seems like kind of a guy with no emotions on the outside, but he has definitely emotions, like especially with you practice with him. He's a funny guy. Like, super chill working with him. And I'm definitely gonna miss him. Like, he's a good guy.
The bromance is there.
He said he was crying when he saw that I'm leaving, and I was crying so much. Like, honestly, if you guys want to see a guy crying, a full grown man, about leaving his former team, go on my German YouTube channel. And
we'll put that clip right here.
I was literally like crying my eyes out. And I wasn't even expecting. I was like, okay, this is gonna be emotional. But when I was recording this video, I was like, sure, all of these YouTubers, they're faking it, sure. But then I was like, God damn it, this is hard. Like, literally, like, tears coming down and trying to hold them in. Because I just wanted to get the video done. And I was getting up all the time. I was also thinking, am I cutting that out and doing? I was like, nah,
put it in.
Let them see it. It's like, there's so much emotion, and being part of Red Bull was such a privilege, and we had so many successes over the years. So there's just good memories.
Yeah. Then what do you look forward to with this new team?
New team.
Dominating, winning again. So yeah, that was kind of the main thing why I also left my former team. I didn't feel like it wasn't like. I think maybe in the future, who knows? Maybe I'm gonna go back to Red Bull in a few years' time. Maybe in the real Formula 1. Who knows?
Great.
Who knows? I mean, life is crazy.
Oh yeah.
You can't predict what's going to happen. But so I've just felt like where I was going with my head and where Red Bull was going with kind of the way how they wanted to work on things in the future, it was just at the moment not the right fit. And it would not be cool for me to kind of tell them, yeah, okay, it's gonna work out, I'm gonna work out and this and that. If I feel like, yeah, long term this is probably not gonna work out, maybe then we would waste another year where they could maybe work on building something for their future and me for myself. So we came to a mutual agreement that it's just we're gonna see where it goes, but if I want to take the step and go to another team, we would have still continued working for this year, but they also said if I want to leave and if I will find another team, then they are happy for me to go because they have so much respect for the stuff that I've done for them. Same me for them. It's like just perfect agreement, and we went both ways. I think fairly happy with the outcome, and who knows in the future?
Yeah,
maybe gonna make a return one day.
Oh yeah,
but for now,
new team.
It's the new team.
Yes.
It's of course I can't say. The energy is amazing.
Italian, German, American? Who knows?
They are very, very determined. They want to win, and I want to win. That's the most important bit, and I'm feeling at home. Can't wait for it to go live in public. I mean, it's not going to take much longer anymore. So probably at the time of when this goes live, it should probably already be announced. Beautiful. Hopefully. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm also like a little kid, like, come on, just say it over. Just put it out there.
Incredible. Well, final question for Q1. You know, when you take a look at F1 Esports, there's obviously so much that's changed probably since you first came.
Yeah.
What are you excited about going forward with F1 Esports? And then what would you change as well? Is there something that you really want, F1 Esports to focus on and start to build towards, to become the type of league that you're really proud to be a part of going forward?
Yeah. So I think what I would like to see in the future, well, first of all, like F1 Esports, like they made such a massive step over the last few years. It's incredible to see the growth. I think, of course, COVID, the time there helped for people to just check it out, because before a lot of people thought it's not interesting. It's just guys gaming or girls gaming and racing on a console, and doesn't take much skill. They're just sitting there playing video games for a living. What is this? Can also watch real Formula 1. That's not real racing. But then actually people got into it because of the virtual GPs and real drivers also participating in some of the races. And they felt like, hey, this is actually quite fun, and these guys are better than I thought, and they take it quite serious. It's not just playing games. It's actually like proper commitment. You need to be on it to be actually able to perform on the top all the time. So yeah, with everything that F1 did over the last few years, I think it's been a great stepping stone. But what I would really love to see is us becoming more of a part of like the actual circus, because at the moment we are in some way, because it's F1 Esports, but either I would say it would be good to have it more separate, like being an actual standalone esports, then promote it as an esport properly, and kind of build it around something like similar to CSGO, League of Legends, just like a whole different franchise, or make it actually like part of the F1 universe, because at the moment it is, but it's not fully like, it would be nice to maybe go to, like, we could be part of the race weekends actually. Like during the weekend when there's F1, F2, F3, if there's spare time, just say, hey, there's F1 Esports, put it on all the screens, make it on Sky and everywhere, like literally make it as a feeder series in some form. As part of the race weekends would be awesome to see, and us traveling around the whole world with the teams, then also being able to interact more with the fans. It would literally help engage everything more, like on track people would be like, hey, this is actually cool, these guys are insane. And also all around the world, people would maybe be like, I don't know what to do, I just want to see qualifying, what's on the TV. And then they turn on their TV, see Sky Sports F1, and they see, hey, Marcel Kiefer is winning again.
Yeah.
My favorite driver.
Yeah. So, you're right though. It would do really well because I think right now, whenever you see like even F1 reshare clips from F1 Esports, a lot of people aren't used to it. And they're like, "Why are you sharing this?" Because they haven't seen it before. It's not part of that universe entirely yet. So fantastic. Verdict on Q1.
Green sector.
Green. Okay. Well,
green, purple.
Hey, maybe Q2. You're gonna have to work for that purple, man. Q2. Q2 coming up with Marcel. Right. Stay tuned, guys. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Track Limits episode with Marcel Kiefer. We're now getting into Q2, where hopefully Marcel can take a purple.
Yes. 100%. It's not a maybe. It's a definite.
Amazing.
I love it.
Let's look at your childhood, right? Like, I want to kind of understand, where did this passion for racing come from? I think, there was a article you did or an interview you did where you talked about watching Shumacer with your dad.
Yeah.
Was your family really into racing and that's how you got into it, or was it something else?
Yeah, so actually it all started when I was playing Fortnite.
Can you imagine? It's like,
No. I think actually F1 Esports was actually before Fortnite. Or maybe it was actually the same year. I don't know. Right. Maybe a year later. I don't know. But anyway, so the actual origins was my dad was a big Formula 1 fan and he was always watching it. And his whole basement, his room and everything, like we literally had posters of Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher hats and signed flags. My dad actually went to his karting track once just to get like a signature from him because he knew he was a massive fan.
Amazing.
We had so many cars and like model cars, small ones from different years, from the early 70s, 80s, 90s. I was always a big fan of Mika Häkkinen as well. McLaren Mercedes versus Ferrari with Michael. I loved the Finns. I also loved Kimi Räikkönen. When kind of Mika was gone, I was like, Kimi. Because he's Finnish, he's more or less similar, even colder. Kimi.
Yeah,
I love him.
Now Valtteri.
No, that is actually like, it's mental. I was such a big fan of Finnish drivers. I don't know why. Like they were just like this kind of mentality around them. They were just like getting it done.
Yep, that's it.
But of course, as a German, Michael Schumacher was for me my hero, and I grew up watching him as a kid. And I wasn't watching every race or something like that because I was still like playing football and having other activities. I was like maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. But I was still watching a lot of races. And actually, I think in 2005 or 2006, I was going to the Hockenheim GP and it was mental.
Nice.
Sitting at a Sachs curve and these cars,
that track is crazy.
And everyone with their air horns. I miss the air horns. They should bring it back, but probably the air horns would be louder than the cars. So maybe not a good idea. So imagine Formula E with
can you imagine with air horns?
All these engines are loud, and then they turn it off. No roast to Formula E. Formula E is great.
Would you ever? I know you mentioned it in Q1, but would you ever want to get into a real seat and actually race?
Yeah.
And
I also Formula E, 100%. 100%. Like, I want to get into Formula 1. That's still my dream. And a lot of people are laughing at it because I'm 24. But the thing is, my body is way fitter. And I look younger. If I don't say my age, everyone's thinking, he's probably he finished karting. He's getting ready to get out.
19, maybe, who knows.
The Uber, he said, like, I look like 17. I was like, I am. Just so the team principals are not like, he's getting old. No, honestly, I mean, also seeing Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Talent knows no age.
Correct.
Like, if you are on it, like I always say, if I could have a driver who's going to win the championship 100%, but he's maybe 40 years old. Or I could have a driver who's maybe winning it, but I'm not sure about it, and he's 20 years old. I would still go for the guy that's going to win it. Just because I want to win as a team.
Of course.
So, okay, for the future, but Fernando Alonso is still going to drive until he's 70. So.
He's an anomaly.
He will not quit.
He will race until he has Lewis's record and Michael's record, like also on the 7, maybe breaking the 8.
Oh, man.
Imagine he actually goes that long.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah. Who comes first, Max or him?
Oh, yeah, literally.
I think definitely Fernando, just because Max would be like, okay, 2028, I'm out.
I'm done.
Had enough.
And then when it comes to your work-life balance, what does that look like? How do you balance kind of working? And because I mean, again, even with sim racing, especially during COVID, you guys were in your house mainly, right? And like, I would imagine, there's always a desire to just get better, to spend hours in the simulator, work out. Like, do you find time to just disconnect fully and like not think about work?
To be fair, I don't remember actually. Like I don't even remember last time I had proper holiday where I just went somewhere. Every now and then that happens for like 1 or 2 days, like once a year. But in general, I feel like I'm never working, but I'm always working.
Right.
Like it's not like I have to work, but I still do. Like it's basic stuff that I do, like working out in the day, where I'm like, okay, I want to improve this, so I'm gonna go for a run. I want to do this. I need to edit a video. I need to do that. It's just a few things that it's kind of hard, but at the same time, like I'm in such a privileged position. Like I'm not seeing it as a bad thing. It can be stressful at times, especially during the esports season. Like the mental pressure is insane, but in general, like I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world because I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like so I don't know if I have a work-life balance. I think the perfect work-life balance is if you can work 24/7. Like not that you should go to a burnout or anything, but if you feel like what you're doing is not like sacrificing the joy in life, nothing better than that. If you feel like you're in a happy place, you're still living your passion, it's not meant to be kind of this typical. I know there's a stigma around this grind set nowadays. I like it, but I know a lot of people don't like it. But I'm a big work believer. I want to work out, so I'm enjoying it. I really like it. It's not feeling like I'm kind of working myself too much and doing too much all the time. It's just actually really chill. And I feel like working out is actually a good balance.
It is.
Sometimes friends, family in the evening, every now and then a few days where I'm just like, okay, today no stream, I'm gonna go to the cinema or something.
Nice.
Every now and then. But I don't plan in like, okay, I will have this day exactly and I'm not gonna do anything. Because if I don't do anything, just sitting around, like right now, this is fine because I'm talking. It feels it feels fun, productive, but if I would just sit here on the chair, I would literally be like, right, where's the simulator?
I
gotta do something. Literally getting like angry because I'm
angry. Like, come on,
it's awful. So I'm a workaholic.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But on the other side of it, was there a moment where you're like, I failed? Like this went completely wrong. Well, and if it was, how did you get over that?
Honestly, I think last year Spa in 2022, there was I think something with my pedal, with my throttle pedal. I'm still not sure what exactly, but I was so slow and struggling. I was over pushing because I felt like I was lacking pace, and I never had that before. And I was like, am I still good enough? Like literally in that moment, I was like, everything's coming to mind, and you're like, am I still good enough? And after this race, I was like, I never felt so bad about myself. Like I was literally just sitting there with tears in my eyes, not leaving my rig until the team told me we are gonna have a debrief if I would like to join, and then I joined. But I was fairly quiet because I was still in shock. I was like, what the hell just happened? No idea. It was awful. I literally felt like the whole world was over for me. Like my whole dream was collapsing. But then I was just like, what on earth are you talking? Like you're Marcel Kiefer.
Yes. Talk yourself
You're the one and only.
So
and then I worked for the next few races so hard on just being like happy and positive and attracting good energy. I believe strongly in the law of attraction, and that the universe is giving you what you're asking for it, and positive energy resolving in positive energy back, negative and negative. So I was like, stop just feeling like, oh my God, Marcel, what have you done? And just feel like, okay, whatever happened, I'm gonna smoke them in the next few races. And the next few races, they didn't went perfect. There were a few things that went wrong, but in general, I felt way more positive and energetic. And I was really proud of that whole process of being super down. And even though it wasn't turning out into a 3-race domination, there were a lot of positives to take away. And many things that didn't go my way, not by myself, by getting taken out, for example, in Monza, and I think in Sanford it was super close, small mistake, that was my bad in quali, knocked me out of Q, from Q2 to Q3 I didn't make it, and in Sanford overtaking was hard. But the other 2 races, they were awesome, qualifying also insanely good in Kota, even though we were off pace, and we were literally like, oh my God, we went so bad on the wings, we had like 10 kph more, and we were like, no way. Like everyone's high wings, we went the total wrong direction. Everyone was so much faster. So we were like 2/10 off, and we were panicking, changing setups before that session. And then I went after Q1 back to my old setup because I was like, this feels awful. So I swapped actually, because we don't have Parc Fermé on. I swapped setups in the session, so you had a complete different car feeler.
Right.
And I had the best qualifying, I think. Second best of the season. I finished P4, and I think my best one was Imola P2. And I was like, yes, I'm back. Like, this was great. And then we messed up the strategy because it was a chaotic race. So I went from fighting for the win to dropping, I think, out of the points and then fighting back to P9 or something. But there were so many positives. I was not even feeling like it was a big loss. It was like, I made the best out of the situation, and I worked my way back. I was a positive contribution to the team. Everyone was super thrilled of that energy that I had. I was like, I'm just going to do my best. And every lap, everything that feels bad, it's still going towards that goal that I have, which is going to become the best in the future. Maybe these few races where I don't do as well, these are the key moments to in the next season or in the next few races to know exactly what I need to do. So always seeing every single part of the process as a learning stepstone. So that was, I think, probably the most proudest moment of the last year, which I had.
And then in terms of the last question, for Q2, I want to ask here is more around that mentality. Is that very similar to also how you deal with negativity, like on social media? I mean, obviously F1 Esports becomes more and more popular every day. There are a ton of people that might come and just start, giving you a negative comment here and there because they think they can drive better than you for some reason. I don't know how, but how do you deal with that? Is that a similar mindset of just continue to be positive?
I mean, nowadays, yes. But I can't lie if, like, I have to admit I'm struggling with the social media abuse and hate that you can receive. It's not like, I don't feel like I'm a victim, because in the end, I'm still in a very, very privileged position. Like, people listen to what I'm saying, and that's why I get a lot of negative feedback from other people, because they know this guy is maybe someone, like he achieved something, and we listen to him, and maybe because I don't like him, I would just chat shit. So simple as that. But even if you don't know these people, if you feel like, hey, these guys don't like me, it's still very hard to take every now and then. Like, you read these comments and you're like, why? Like, what have I done? Like, I'm literally just trying to be a nice guy. Then I'm feeling like my mom raised me well. I'm being respectful to people. I'm trying to do my best, but there's just nowadays a lot of people expect from people online to be exactly what they want them to be. And if they are not in a certain moment this person that they would expect them to be, and they forget that I'm just a normal boy. Like, I don't see myself like, I don't like when people act like I'm something special. I am in terms of like my driving, but I'm just a human. I'm just a normal guy. Like, if you see me on the street, you can just say, hi, Marcel. Just like you would walk to anyone else, like, how's the weather? You don't walk to some random stranger and you're like getting nervous. Okay, I mean, if you are, I think that's still cute and stuff. But if you treat me like I'm some kind of god or something, it feels really out of place for me. I'm just like, hey, I'm just normal.
Yeah, just
like,
talk to me normal.
Just let's have a coffee or hot chocolate, because hot chocolate is superb.
Breaking news: Marcel loves hot chocolate.
I have a massive sweet tooth.
I love it. Well, we're gonna get into the rapid fire round. Q2 verdict.
I think that was a purple.
Purple.
Yes, he's done it. He's done it.
But potential poll. We're getting into Q3 now. Don't celebrate too early. Come on.
Potential. I'm gonna get it.
We'll see if Marcel needs to change his setup. And we're gonna get into the rapid fire round right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Track Limits podcast. We are now getting into the rapid fire round with Marcel. Marcel, you nervous?
No.
Oh,
he's game ready. What do you mean?
Game ready.
He's game ready.
All right, we're gonna ask you a bunch of questions here, and we're gonna see how rapid and fire your answers can be. Number one.
You need the questions.
You actually mentioned it. If you had to choose one track to race on forever, which one would it be?
Silverstone.
Okay.
Okay. For audio listeners, I'm about to show you a photo.
Okay.
It's you, Checo, and Esteban during your rookie.
Oh,
what was happening?
God. Yeah, that was mental. Like, there was literally like people around us, reporters. Like, I was feeling like on F1 2010. You remember that game when you were in the career mode where they interviewed you?
Yes.
And I was like, what on earth is going on? Literally, I think there was Fox Sports, RTL from Germany, Sky Sports, everyone was there.
Yeah.
And they were actually like calling in for the first year, a media interview, an announcement for the esports team.
Yeah.
It was mental. I was just like there, nervous in school already in front of 30 people. 2 days later, they take us to, what is it called? Is it Good Field? No, there's like Goodwood. No, not Goodwood. But like the campsite, one of the campsites at Silverstone.
Yeah.
Right.
Where Racing Point, and I think probably also Aston Martin is doing a lot of activities.
Yeah.
They took us to the stage in front of like 5K people. I was like, I'm glad I have sunglasses on.
Yeah.
It's a bit easier, but I was nervous as hell. So that was mental.
Amazing. Next question: which track would you remove from the F1 Esports season?
Monza.
Okay.
Okay.
But I like Monza a lot because I won there. But the game, in the game, it
doesn't play right.
It's not feeling right. Like the way we have to send it over curbs.
Yeah.
If it would be laser scanned and with the handling a bit adjusted, I think it would be the best track ever because the racing is so close and with the slipstreaming, like there's so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
But at the moment, probably Monza is one of the tracks where I would be like, send it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to take out your phone.
I have it over there.
Oh, you're
Gotta go get it.
All right, we're gonna grab it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We've actually never had a guest get out and come back in. This is hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And the question is, who was the last person you texted
Oh my god.
or DM'd if you didn't text?
DM. Let me see. Oh, it's actually you.
It was me.
Oh.
Perfect. Coming to get you because I was at a coffee.
Lame. Second person you texted.
Second person. Who's the second?
Second person. Wait, there must be on WhatsApp probably. I mean, who I messaged?
Yep.
Oh, it was my mom.
Oh.
I told her that I love her. I'm not kidding.
You did.
Love it.
That's so
Okay. Next question: what regulation change would you institute in F1? Be like double points in the last race, for example. That type of stuff.
No.
No.
I think maybe once a year, equal car race.
Oh,
Just to see
Equal
who's-
machinery.
Yeah. Equal
Oh
machinery.
my
Maybe
God.
the go-karting thing back. But again, go-karting is different than Formula racing. So
yeah.
maybe just a spec car where they literally say, okay, we're providing the cars.
Yeah.
That would be
Drive it.
like
That'd
in
be
the
really
off
fun.
season.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like it's a fun
It'd be
event.
like a tournament kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Off season.
That would
is
be
sick.
amazing.
That
Love
is
that.
sick.
Yeah.
Next question: what driver would you trust to drive you blindfolded around the track?
From the real F1 drivers, I think Max Verstappen, just because I think Max is gonna send it so hard that we might crash, and I want it to be like super scary.
Yeah. Incredible. Who is the greatest F1 driver and F1 Esports driver of all time, in your opinion?
Greatest driver of all time, Michael, but I'm biased because I'm German.
Yeah.
Greatest esports driver, I mean Jarno, because Jarno won the most titles in the recent years. I mean Brandon as well, but Jarno stayed consistently on top. But then again, Freddie is. I mean, he didn't win a title, but he's the most consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
So probably it's between Jarno and Freddie at the moment. Just for this year, after 2023, it's gonna be Kiefer.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
It's going German.
German. Coolest person you ever raced with online?
Probably Alex Albon.
Oh.
Nice. What's the most overasked question you get?
What's your force feedback setting?
Yeah.
Because I mean, or camera settings. It's always these typical, what is it, what's that? Then I have a command, I'm just like, check the command or check my YouTube video. It's legit.
Yeah. Cool.
Worst mistake people make when posting content on social media?
Not posting enough and overthinking. I'm actually still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking too much. I think it doesn't matter, whatever. Like, you think, oh, what if they don't like this? Or what if somebody thinks that? Doesn't matter. The internet, there's so much stuff getting posted every day
Yep.
that eventually people will not even remember whatever you've posted. Of course, it should be respectful and stuff, but if you're just thinking about, is this gonna make sense if I upload this video today about how do I brake, and maybe it's a bit, it's great, or maybe it's a bit underperforming.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Get the stuff out there. That's
Yep.
the first step to grow on social media. So just post.
Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
It sounds really stupid, but unlimited money, because then I could race in Formula One.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I don't need to be. I was thinking, like, what if I would say like being the fastest driver, but I am. That would be two superpowers. I will take the money and then I can.
You already got the first one. You're fine.
But with unlimited money, in some way you could probably help for like removing poverty and like eliminating any kind of health stuff. So you could literally help anyone out if you have unlimited money. It is a superpower for sure. So and you could race in Formula 1.
And you could race in Formula 1.
So that's a great thing as well.
The last question, you're writing an autobiography on your life. Which of these titles best resonates with you? So what would the title of your book be? The Daredevil, the Dream Catcher, the Free Spirit, the Hardest Worker.
The hot chocolate.
No,
the hardest worker for sure.
The hardest worker. Yeah. I love that. Well, that I think was a purple.
Yeah, provisional poll.
Provisional poll. Yeah.
Not provisional.
Not anymore.
Stop the standings.
Thank you so much, Marcel, for coming on. I know the first question we asked you was, tell us about your career. I mean, the last question we ask every guest, tell us, how do you want to be remembered? What sort of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Wait, this is making me sad.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh my God, no, this is actually a tough one. I mean, I would like to be remembered just like I like the Danny Ricciardo energy. I want to be more respectful, successful. That's the word. He's very respectful. Not hating on the guy. Like he's a great guy. But I think like everyone loves him. Like his energy is great, and I want to kind of have the similar vibe where people are like, it's amazing to listen to Marcel. It's always a joy to hang out with him. Or, like this kind of vibe I want to have around me. But also people knowing this guy was literally the hardest worker in the room. Like if kids look up to him and like just search on YouTube, I want to have these Marcel Kiefer motivation videos one day on YouTube where like, holy crap, he was the game changer. Like, he was literally, nobody was ever working that hard. Like, some kind of Kobe Bryant level and
mentality.
Just like this grind that like, you can do it. Like talent is maybe part of life. I don't really believe in talent. I believe in, if you work hard, you will get there. For sure. So just work your butt off.
Amazing. Drop the mic while you're there.
Drop the mic, literally. Well, guys, that was Marcel Kiefer. I do really appreciate you coming on again. I think the cool part about hearing you is that you have a really fun energy to you. But
Thank you.
You also are very ambitious. You believe in yourself a lot, clearly. And like, I think that's going to take you even farther, man. So kudos to you on everything you've done. Where can people find you on social media if they want to stay in touch?
Everywhere. TikTok, YouTube. I have also, for people that don't speak English but German, I have a German channel.
Cool.
But I also want to continue focusing on international content because I mean there's such a huge audience. Motorsport is English mainly, so YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch.
Perfect.
Nice. That's
Love
the
that.
main things.
Thanks so much, Marcel. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a review. Check out our other episodes on tracklimitspod.com, and we will see you in the next episode.